Hey guys, good afternoon. Welcome to episode 25 of the Malkan show. It's a very special episode. I feel so happy to have reached this milestone of 25 episode. Considering that before I actually began with the show series, I keep speaking of this a lot that I was someone who was petrified of speaking on video, and now I really can't believe that I'm on this 25 episode mark. I'm so excited, and I thank all of you for the support, the motivation for, to help me keep going. I had my own thing that maybe I'll do 10 shows or maybe 20 shows and then I'll retire. Maybe I'll not be able to continue further. But I have reached this thing thanks to your support and inspiration. Okay, so before we begin, let's see who's joining us from where. We have Girish from Mumbai. Welcome, Girish. And today is such a special day, guys. Let me share this. Our whole team at Malkan's View, all of us, including me, Vishal, the entire team, are so pumped up about today because today is when we begin our online program of Options Mastery. It's been a dream run for so long where we wanted to begin with Options Mastery online. This is the very first time that we're doing it. Registrations have been pouring in, which registration were closed 2 days ago, but since we had so many people pouring in the last minute and wanting to register for today's program, we've opened it just for today again till 7 p.m. in the evening. So for those who are still looking for it, go to this link called mvoptionexpiry.com. There have been a series of webinars on options that have been taking place, that have been done by Vishal so far, and people are very keen to learn options. Of course, that's no doubt that's one of the best ways to generate income, both regular as well as passive, right? So that's what it is. So if you're keen, go to this link and register yourself. And I wish Vishal and the entire team all the best for tonight's first session tonight. Okay, so we have Suresh from Hyderabad join us. Hi, Suresh. We have Payal with us today. Hi, Payal. We have Rohan from Mumbai. So guys, we have Anil Kumar. Hi, from Mumbai. Hi, Anil. So guys, today's topic is, I'm just not doing it one, I'm doing a series of it, and a topic which is most commonly spoken about by all of us. It's a very common topic of discussion. But the thing is, it never really reaches the final stage, where we have some good number of points to go about this topic, or the final thing. Yes, I'm going to do this about this topic. So that's what it is. And what motivated me to speak on this topic is one fine evening when I was having a conversation with my son. He's 10 years old. He's in the 5th grade. So they have something called as they have a subject in their school which is called life skills, where they discuss about topics other than math, science, or English. They discuss about their feelings, about how are they feeling. They talk about experiences. So a very interesting topics. And the day that he has life skills, when he comes back, he's super excited to discuss, what is his teacher telling or what they discuss. One particular evening is this conversation taking place where they spoke about happiness. And he wrote down experiences, which make him happy, experiences which make him not so happy. And then at the end of this discussion, he asked me this question: Mama, how to be happy? How do I be happy? And that triggered a whole thing into my mind that this is where it is, when this is the right age for him to learn how to be happy. And then I thought, isn't it something for all of us, something which is so common amongst all of us, where we try to seek happiness into XYZ things, or some moments where we feel that maybe I'm not so happy, or some moments where we feel I want to be happy. So this was a whole new thing. So that's why I thought, let me discuss about things. And this particular thing is not a very small topic where we can just do in a 20-minute show. So I thought of doing a series. So we'll have a 3-part series on happiness, guys. Today's going to be the first part. Now, before we begin, I want to be hearing from you guys about this topic. How would you feel about this topic? Do you feel that you have go through these bouts of, seeking happiness or looking for happiness outside? If you'd like to share here, guys, I'd like to listen from you first before we begin going our discussion on this topic. How do you feel about it? Do you go through these phases where you want to be asking where you find yourself, where you find asking yourself, that how do we get happy? How do we get more happiness? Yes, while we wait for replies, in a very interesting conversation that I have with trader and me students, when I have these coaching calls with them, this is a very general thing that usually comes up. It's related to all the topics, especially when we're discussing about clarity. when we're discussing about influence. These are some of the topics that we discuss in our group coaching calls. A very common thing is how to be happy, or am I happy enough? Can anybody relate to this when I ask you, are you happy enough? How does that work with you? Would anybody like to share here? How does that work with you when you say, am I happy enough? Come on, guys, feel free to share. The more you share, the more interaction we can have, and maybe we can make it a more constructive discussion, the more we share. How does it work with you from happiness? When you read, there's a lot of research done on in the field of positive psychology on this term called happiness, a lot of it. And the most common suggestion, the most common finding of everything is that, of all this research, is that happiness is, most of our happiness that we experience is intentional. It's all intentional. You can intend to make yourself happy. How much happy do you want to feel? That's all on your intention. How much do you intend to feel happy? So Rohan shares, yes, I'm happy. So this is a state of mind. When you decide to feel happy, you're really happy in personal and business terms. So that's very specific, Rohan. Thank you for sharing. Anil Kumar shares, happiness is a state of mind. I have been generally happy. So this is what we feel, right? When you say how happy you are, there are three types, you are in a not so happy mode, or you are in a really happy mode, or maybe you can say you're fairly or occasionally happy. So we all pass through these bouts, and it's like a state of mind, it's like today you're feeling generally happy, tomorrow you may feel really, really happy. We go through these bouts all the time. I feel happy in my work. Is that what you mean to say, Raju? So when you feel happy in your work, this is what you define your happiness as. In work, you're happy. It's so important, guys, to know where you're happy and how and what makes you happy. Devesh shares, I use opposite thinking every time when I get bad feelings or bad thoughts. So that opposite feeling is something that gets you from the bad feeling or thoughts into the state of happiness. Thank you so much, Devesh, for sharing. Yes. So, a very interesting finding is when I was doing my research into this, there is a lot of research done by psychologists, researchers. There's one particular research done by Susan L. in her book, where she shares that out of the 100% happiness that we're looking at, only, most of the happiness is intentional, which means you can intend to be happy. Some of it she's done it in the form of pie diagram. I'll present it the next time. Some of it is based on our mindset, how genetically it has been imbibed from our biological parents, biological mother or father or both. And this is surprising what comes next. Only 10% of the happiness is related to circumstances. So out of 100% of happiness that could be the source of 100% think that's the source of our happiness, most of it is intentional. Some of it is from what we have genetically gotten from our biological parents, and 10% is circumstances. Now, when I read this, I was really baffled, because the common belief that all of us carry is that we link our happiness to the circumstances. We believe that only in a set circumstance, if everything falls right, if I get married to so-and-so person, or if I have so-and-so house or a car or a career or a set of friends or a set of relationships, only then I can be happy. Now, this kind of research was phenomenal, where most of our beliefs about happiness were broken. Now, this research is presented by a lot of examples. In one particular example, she talks about a very, very successful rock star. At one point of time, he's having the best of relationships. He's having the best of his career. He's touring the whole world along with his rock band. And suddenly, when the band closes down, when band shuts shops, no longer concerts happening, that's when everything goes reverse. He loses relationship with his wife, leaves him and goes. And there he is left stranded in a small village with two young children to tend to. And that's when the team of researchers, when they go to ask him, are you really happy right now? He says, I'm as happy as I was earlier when I was touring the whole world as a rock star. Now tell me, guys, his circumstances have gone from 100 to 0, but his happiness level has remained the same. This is what goes on. There are many more such instances. This is one such instance. The researchers have presented many more instances. And this only goes to show that your circumstances dictate only 10% of your happiness. And that's a huge, huge revelation, because what is put into us by our society, our peers, our role models, all of us, it's a very erogenous belief kind of thing that's put into us, that we have these presumed sources of happiness. All of us, most presumed sources, wealth, and then it could be relationship, it could be how you look, etc., etc. And most of these sources, trust me guys, most of these are so intuitive, they are so commonsensical that we easily fall prey to them. Because when someone advocates their riches and tells you, see, I'm this and that's why I'm happy, or someone advocates their beauty and tells and portrays, see, I'm so beautiful and that's why I'm happy, or I'm successful at my career and that's why I'm happy. This leads you to believe that, maybe this could be the source of happiness. Maybe if even I could have that, what that happy person has, maybe then I could be happy. So is it not, guys? Does it not happen to you? Would you like to share here, when you see someone happy because of their societal status, because of their, about how successful they are in their career, how they have it all? Does that not make you think too that maybe if I have this, maybe I can be happy too? Have you been through that? It's very, very common for us to, go through those phases. So Devesh shares here again, we have a lot of conditions to make us happy. Conditions and circumstances don't make us happy. So true, Devesh. Actually, they make us more unhappy instead. Yes, because when you have these circumstances, they also come with this mark that only with these circumstances I'm going to be happy. So that's what it is. So in this first part here, having said all this, in this first part here, I would want to debunk a lot of myths on happiness. Of all the myths that we have on happiness, there are 3 predominant myths that all of us carry on this subject. So now what are those? One more thing before. So Girish says, whenever I feel unhappy, I remind myself this old song, Duniya mein kitna gam hai, mera gam kitna kam hai, which is so true. Thank you, Girish, for sharing. It's all about a perspective, right? When we compare ourselves to others, or when we see this, it gives you a perspective how happy you are. I read a very frequent quote that I keep reading. Someone said, I'm sorry, I can't recall the name, that I want all of the people out here on this earth to be rich, so that they come to know that money is not the answer. This is to someone, who is having this belief ingrained into them that maybe if you have money, that's the state of happiness. So that's what it is, guys. So it's very important to get a perspective, especially for your own self, how intentional you want to be into happiness. So that's one takeaway definitely from this discussion, that all of our happiness, 100%, all of it has to be intentional. There's no role of circumstances whatsoever, because it's very meager. It's just 10% of the whole 100% pie. Now, coming to the myths, the first myth that most of us have around this topic is that happiness must be found. You need to find happiness somewhere. Have you not heard from people that I need to seek happiness? I need to find it somewhere. Very interesting. I know it sounds very banal, very cliche, but the fact is that happiness is a state of mind. There can never be two ways about it. It's only in your head that you can decide to be happy or not to be happy. Haven't you seen people who are extremely wealthy, well endowed with the best of health, best of relationships, but they are not happy? Have you not seen those kind of people? Most of us have seen. Some of these samples are present in our own households and social circles. They have everything that they want. It makes you wonder, what is it that this person wants? If he cannot be happy, he or she cannot be happy with what he or she has, what else can you give that person to be happy? I have so many people around me in this category. I'm sure all of us have. If you look people from this perspective, you can identify these weeds around. So many people have these kind of people. They have everything, but still they are not happy. So what's it with these guys? So the fact is, this is not something that can be found. It's there inside. You can find something only if it's outside. This is something inside, and hence you cannot find. It's very logical, right? The second myth, and the funniest of them, is that people believe that happiness lies in changing our present circumstances, which means Considering where you are, if you don't feel happy, then you may feel that maybe I may change this, then I could be happy. Maybe I may change my job. Maybe then I'll be happy. Maybe a little better place to live, a bigger flat, and maybe then I'll be happy. See, that's what it is. So Vishal here shares, happiness is like a radio. You just need to tune into the right station. So true. So once you tune in, that makes you happy. You don't need to change anything here to be happy. It's all inside of you. You don't need to change your job or your career or relationship, blah, blah, blah. And you know what happens is most of us experience bouts of happiness. Some periods, all of us have, if you go back and recall, there's this one particular period which made you really, really happy. What happens is, as you move on in time, you cling to that period of happiness. You think, this was a time when I was super duper happy. And then your brain wants to reconstruct the exact circumstance that was present that made you happy at that point of time. How is it possible, guys? How can you go back in time and recreate the entire circumstances? That means you're really out there trying to tweak and change circumstances in the present time to go back into that level of happiness, which is just not possible. So you cannot recreate those circumstances. Whatever you have right now, that is where you have to be really intentional in creating happiness. Right? And the third and a very important one is, so many of us believe that either we have happiness or we don't have happiness. It's not, you can, there are no two ways about it. There's no middle way about it. There's always have or don't have. That's not the case. That's just a notion in our mindset, because the thing is, we are all born happy. Have you seen an unhappy child? Have you seen a 1.5 year old child? My nephew is 1.5 year old. Whenever I see him, his happiness is so contagious. It makes me happy the moment I talk to him or the moment I play with him. So you can never see an unhappy child. This only goes to prove that we are all born, we have this within us. Nevertheless, it doesn't stay that way as we progress through life. That happiness is not going to stick to us. We go through circumstances, we go through events, we go through experiences, which they try to take a toll on the way we are feeling. And there's always a middle way out of it. It's not that once you're unhappy, you're always unhappy. In my conversations, a lot of times, I hear people saying that my mother or my father was a very unhappy person. Maybe I'm genetically like him. It's not that way. Agreed, some part of happiness is genetic. But when we speak on belief systems a lot, it's all in your head. You can change it. How else do you see millionaires who are, sons or daughters of rat pickers? How else is that possible? So it's all in your list to change. So any of these three myths, we discussed about the three myths. Happiness, if the first one was happiness must be found when you feel. It's not that way. You cannot really go out and find happiness. Second myth is that we believe that it lies in changing our circumstances. And third one is either you have it or you don't. There's not a middle way about it. Any one of you can relate to, has been through any of this, would like to share your experience on how you have been through one of these myths and how's it been for you. So Isaki shares, this session is very important for me. I always look other side to get happy instead of looking in my own state of mind, which is so true, Isaki. Thank you so much for being vulnerable in sharing this. The show is all about sharing, and so that we could discuss further on, how it works. This, when your realization that, you've always been looking outside is a huge, huge win for you, Isaki. Because once you realize, now this is going to dawn on you every time that you look outside. It's a big thing for you. Keep working on this so that you stay with this realization, and every time the thought comes that you would want to be looking at outside, that's a trigger that's going to remind you that it's not outside, guys, it's inside. That's what it is. So thank you for sharing. And so once you're aware of something, science says, it's research that says, once you're aware of a particular thing, you move above and away from that thing. It's not possible to go back into it. And that's your responsibility, guys. So once you're aware of these three myths that we just discussed, try to see to it that it stays in your mind and you're as an awareness that these are just the myths. So the next time when you feel that maybe I could change so and so to get more happy, that should be an alarm to you, maybe a kind of alarm, a kind of trigger that no, this is a myth, it's not true, it's intentional. Or sometimes when you feel that either I'm unhappy or I'm happy, that again could be a trigger to find out no, it's never that way. It could be a mix of all of it, right? So making others happy, Balaji shares, making others happy makes me happy, which is so true because happiness is contagious. Why this happens? The trigger of making others happy is because you know that you have generated happiness for them. You're aware that happiness is really intentional, and that is what is contagious. It comes back to you too. So this is a big one. Thank you for sharing, Balaji. So Anil Kumar shares again. I have always strongly believed that happiness is a state of mind. However, I have not been able to convince some of my family members about the same. That's okay, Anil Kumar. You know what? The best step to ask someone to believe you or make someone believe you is to actually and practically do it in front of them and not be. So the more they see you doing it, they're going to ask you, how are you doing it? And that's the simple thing to them. When they see you do it, they're going to follow suit. So keep doing your bit, keep doing your way, and soon they'll follow. They'll get to know that maybe this is the secret to his happiness. Maybe this is how it's to be done. That's how it is. So Vaishali shares there's greater joy in giving rather than receiving. Yes, a very famous short story by Tony Robbins. It's not too short to share right now. Don't have the time, but I will share one day. Very beautifully, he shares how, as a teenager, he learned this lesson that the joy is in giving and not. It's on YouTube too, if you want to say, but I'll do narrate it sometime soon. Very very beautiful lesson that Tony shares in his talk. Anjan Das says, we are happiest in our dreams, but impractical views or expectations make us unhappy. Yes, again, Anjan, this is again a thing of what makes you happy, what makes you not. But this realization that, this thing that it is intentional and it is upon you to decide to be happy or not happy, that could be a huge win-win against those views or against those expectations that are trying to make you unhappy. Please try, guys. My intention to make it a 3-part series was to give us time, to work enough on this topic of happiness. And I believe that's all there is to life. What else is there? Why do we work so hard? Why do we spend so many hours at work and so many hours trying to make our lives a better place? It's all an endeavor to experience life fully and in a better way. And that the ultimate thing is happiness. So that's what it is. That's the reason I want to be spending more time. So 3-part is a minimum thing. If you feel like you can stretch it further or talk more on this, but there's a minimum that we're talking on this. So guys, the next coming week, I want you to ponder on these 3 myths only. There's a lot that's coming up in the next episode as well. But as of now, let's work on these 3 myths and see where they are showing up and when they're showing up in our lives, and whether we are getting it. Can we tap it really when it really arises? That this is a myth and happiness is intention. I have to go back. Try to do this, and I'd love more feedback on how it's going with you. You can leave feedback below on the video, or you can get in touch with me personally. I'd love to know how it's working for you. So till then, I wish you all the best. I'll see you soon next Wednesday. Good luck. Bye-bye.